Hey there, it's Irene Lyon. Welcome to this video, welcome to this YouTube channel, and to this world of healing trauma, nervous system health, and neuroplasticity. I wanted to give a quick update, just because some of you watching this, you may just be here for the first time ever. Some of you, maybe you've been with me for a long time. Thank you for sticking around. And I want to just give a rundown of what I do, what this channel is about, where you can find more information about what I'm talking about. And the first thing I want to say is that this work of learning about the nervous system, healing trauma, neuroplasticity, it's all very new. But it isn't new as in it just started to happen last year. We have been working up to this point in time where we understand what trauma actually is, where we understand the science of why someone ends up getting PTSD, why some people end up walking away from accidents no problem and other people walk away from the same accident and their whole life unravels. We're starting to understand the types of practices that need to be put into place so that traumatic stress of all kinds can be healed and helped and really relieved. And I feel so blessed that I've been plopped into this world, into this lifetime at a time where my mentors, who are namely Peter Levine, founder of Somatic Experiencing, and Kathy Kane, founder of Somatic Practice, and also my world of studies in the Feldenkrais method, that is the work of Dr. Moshe Feldenkrais. I was trained by a great teacher named Jeff Haller. So I've had all these amazing teachers who have mentored me. And at the same time that's been happening over the last 20 years, there have been researchers parallel to this time frame since the early 90s discovering what the vagus nerve is, how early trauma impacts adult illness later in life. I will link some of these things below so you can check out kind of the broad spectrum of where I've been, what I've studied, what I've done. But because this is such a vast topic, one video is never enough. 10 videos is plenty, but it often doesn't get us to like the real meat of things. So if you are brand new here, I suggest, if you haven't yet, go to my website, irenelyon.com, and be sure to get my ebook, How to De-Stress in 7 Steps. Perhaps you already have. Thank you if you have. The reason I want that to be kind of the first entry is education is number one. It's numero uno when it comes to healing the nervous system. The reason why, and I will admit, I've had debate with some people around this in the past, other people in the health coaching world who feel that it's not important that the student or the client understands the deep physiology and the neurobiology and the neurochemistry. And I actually highly disagree with that. I remember when I was in university back in 1994, 97, there was this great picture in one of our classes with this big hole in the earth. It was like this massive ditch, and there were this guy was in it. I wish I could find the picture, but I couldn't. There was this guy in this ditch, and the doctor was at the top throwing him pills. And the guy's like, the doctor's like, here, just take these and stay down there, you'll be fine. And then the picture beside it in this book of ours was this guy in this ditch with a doctor at the top, and the doctor was helping him out with a ladder. So he was giving him the tools to get out. And my experience has been that education is so important. So be sure to check out those e-guides that's on my website, How to De-Stress in 7 Steps. Obviously, this YouTube channel has many, many videos, different topics, but very similar theme around what do we need to do to restore health and regulation, so good flow, good health back to the nervous system. What you'll learn as you do more of this work is that when the nervous system is healthy and it isn't trapped with lots of survival stress, that fight, flight, and freeze. So these survival stressors, if we don't actively and consciously learn how to work with them, they stay trapped in our system. Time does not heal this stuff. We actually have to actively engage with it. So by understanding our body system and our physiology and our nervous system and what trauma actually is and what it isn't, we have an upper hand. We have a kind of an outside witness to our experience, such that when a really weird sensation comes up, for example, we can say, I think I'm feeling something that might be a shift in my physiology, and I'm going to just sense it right now, rather than kind of go into another survival reaction that puts the stress higher and doesn't allow that trapped stress, that trapped survival stress, to move out of the system. So education is really important. The other thing that I'll bring your attention to is I have 2 online courses, and the courses, one is a course, one is a program, kind of the same thing, but one is a self-study course called the 21-Day Nervous System Tune-Up. That you can start at any time, and it gives you a comprehensive education on what I call the biology of stress, plus actual neurosensory exercises where I guide you through verbally elements of what it takes to become more connected to the body, but also connected to the body and your physiology, and how this system of yours connects to the outside world, which is super important when we're healing from trauma. We need to learn to reestablish and reconnect to ourselves, but also to the external surroundings, because usually something from the external, whether it was a thing or a person, is what caused harm to us if we are struggling and trying to heal from traumatic stress. So that's one program, 21-Day Nervous System Tune-Up. The other one is a much more comprehensive program, and it's called Smart Body, Smart Mind. We run this once a year. It's a 12-week program, and it's also a program for life. Similar to 21 Days, when you have the program, it's yours, and you can keep doing it over and over and over again. But the 12-week program, Smart Body, Smart Mind, is a kind of a magnum opus, if you will, of all of my practices within the Feldenkrais realm, somatic experiencing and somatic practice, so the work of Peter Levine, Kathy Kane, and Moshe Feldenkrais, and I blend them all together into a nice big kind of soup of experience and education and practice. There's live group support. I do training calls, live Q&As. We have an amazing Facebook group there that is interactive when we are in session, which is usually springtime. And it's a wonderful way to, I like to say, apprentice and become a master of your stress physiology. One thing that is often not talked about when people talk about healing trauma is that we're wanting to get into the physiology of our body, not just the brain and the thoughts, the physiology. And when we can shift the stress physiology and really get under it and get ahead of it and pause it in its tracks. Granted, of course, if there's a real threat that's happening, we want to mount a stress reaction. But for many of us, our stress reactions are old wirings from the past. And so what we want to do is we want to have that education on board so that we can witness that something is happening in our physiology and notice it and pause enough and slow things down enough so that we can reroute those reactions and start to rewire them. So these online programs are wonderful for doing that in the comfort of your own home. And of course, it's something you can keep practicing. Really, it's a lifestyle. The other thing that you can do if you don't want to go the online route is seek out a practitioner. So a somatic experiencing practitioner is my first preference, combined with someone who's trained in Kathy Kane's work, somatic practice. So when you Google, and I'll put the link below so that you can access some of these sites, you can look through the directory, but really it's like anything right now in the world. Do Google searches, ask around, see if you can find someone. If you're having trouble, send us an email, support@irenelyon.com. My team and I try to do our best to find practitioners for people in their area, but ask around, right? Be an advocate and bring some agency into finding someone who can work with you on that level of the nervous system, the physiology, and helping these stress reactions change. Now, the final thing that I'll tell you about, and I'm super excited about these things, and that's working live. So I still teach live workshops. This year, 2019, I'm going to be doing quite a few throughout Canada, the US, and Europe. They are called the Up-Down Workshop. Strange name, I know, but that is what I do with my good colleague and friend Ilya Emrak. And with those workshops, we are combining Feldenkrais, embodiment practice, movement, games, play, dance, music, human interaction, solo interaction. It's a very comprehensive way to engage in your body, in your nervous system in a very safe and contained way. And they are amazing workshops to just really retreat and treat yourself to a true mind, body, and embodiment practice experience, really. So again, I will link that below and you can check it out. And I'd love to connect with any of you. For those of you that can come to a workshop, come if you can. If you can do an online program, please do this. If you want to stick with the online resources and do some reading and watch more videos, do that as well. If you feel the need to find a practitioner in your area, do that as well. One question we often get is, can this work be done over Skype? Yes, it can. Because there's not many of us in the world for the amount of people, the billions of people out there, if you can find someone who works via Skype, that is a good starting place. So just wanted to give this quick overview of what I do, who I am, the things that are offered, because sometimes when you see a talking head on YouTube, you don't realize that there's another world, another life of practice and workshops and resources. So go to my site, ireneline.com. All of that will be spelled out there. And thank you for being here. Thank you for learning. Continue the learning. Learning, in my opinion, equals healing. And when we have more power and more knowledge and more education, we can make better choices. Thank you very much. We will see you next time.